Can someone explain to me why the Toronto Raptors still haven't traded Pascal Siakam? Because it's felt like they've needed to trade Pascal Siakam for a while, and yet he's still a member of the Toronto Raptors, and I'm honestly not confident that's going to change between now and the trade deadline. It's just very clear that the team is, or at least should be, heading in a different direction into a more rebuilding approach. Because after they won the title in 2019, they put up a really great, impressive fight in 2020, but every season afterwards, the Raptors just kept getting worse and worse. They kept losing more and more pieces, like Kyle Lowry, like Fred VanVleet, and credit to them for never fully bottoming out because they were always just too talented for that, but it left them in that awkward middle spot where you're not good enough to actually compete for anything real, but you're not bad enough to bottom out and get a good draft pick. And so it's been clear for a while that the Raptors, one way or another, need to get out of that, and then the most logical solution would be to tear everything down and start from scratch. Especially once you draft a young talent like Scottie Barnes with the 4th pick, it made all the sense in the world for the Raptors to embrace a full-on rebuild to build around Scottie. And it looked like they were really starting to do that just a few weeks ago when they, unclogged their front court situation by trading OG Anunoby. You get back RJ, more importantly, you get back Emmanuel quickly, who can now be your point guard of the future. And RJ obviously still has so much untapped potential. So to have IQ, RJ, and Scottie, that feels like a core to build around. And the Raptors could easily add to it in a very significant way by trading Siakam, but they just haven't. I read a report that said, they're just not so impressed with the trade offers, and then if they're not impressed by any trade offers between now and the deadline, they're just going to extend Siakam. I don't even understand how that would work. I don't really understand why Siakam would sign that extension. Not in that, he definitely wants to stay in Toronto, but I feel like part of the reason he hasn't been traded is because he has some leverage in saying where he wants to end up, because he could be a free agent this summer. But to sign that extension now just means that Toronto then gains the leverage and can send him wherever they want. So if you're Siakam, why would you do that? This isn't the first time the Raptors have done something like this, where they've boggled the potential trade of a really good player to help set themselves up for the future. They could have traded Kyle Lowry at the 2021 trade deadline. I'm pretty sure Philly put Tyrese Maxey on the table, but they weren't ready to part with arguably the greatest player in franchise history. Fred VanVleet, same thing. It was very clear the team was heading in a different direction. It felt like he was gone in the summer no matter what, and they just refused to trade him. Even if it meant getting back pennies on the dollar is still more than nothing, which is like what keeps happening. So for Kyle Lowry, they actually wound up getting like a whatever package. It was Goran Dragic, it was Precious Achiuwa, but they could have gotten more if they traded Lowry during the season because they still had the leverage, because they had the piece that, teams looking to contend, looking to add that final piece, we're looking at Lowry as that guy. Same thing with VanVleet, and now it's the same thing with Siakam. So I don't know if it's loyalty, I don't know if it's just waiting for the right deal, but like the Raptors just continue to shoot themselves in the foot with this kind of stuff. And it's particularly bad in the Siakam department because Siakam is the best player of those guys. This is their all-star. This is their best player. This is the guy currently in his prime. They've set themselves up really well with IQ, with RJ alongside Scottie Barnes, and they could do even more. But again, it's already mid-January, and there's been a lot of talks. We've heard a lot of rumors, but I'm just worried that the Raptors are going to do the same old thing again, where even if the return package isn't perfect, isn't ideal, they'll still say no to it and hope that a better thing comes down the line, except it never does, and then they're just in a worse off position as a franchise moving forward, and that's a shame because I think they have a chance to really set themselves up even better for the future with Siakam, but I'm not so confident that they're going to do it between now and the deadline, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see on that.